We're on here Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Let's take a look at who will be on our show today. We have a good group of guests on. We'll have our man Kevin Thomas will join us today. And, of course, Brian Bitler, number one in college football, documented over at Big Dogs Premium. We got Rod Zawacki will join us. So Chris will co-host. And, of course, Al Ninos, without the Dodgers shirt on today. If you're in a cave, you might have thought they might get eliminated, but no, he needs a day off from that shirt because they're back in action Tuesday in the World Series. So Al's smiling over there with his Dodger blue in the World Series. Hope it's not the Blues again. So maybe they may win one. Al, what do you think?
I think they got their best shot in a long time. Yeah, it's a pretty good shot. I'm not saying the Rays are easy by any means, and they got great pitching, and they've been hitting the ball well too. And the bullpen's what scares me the most against the Rays, and I think that's been a huge advantage for them this whole way. And yeah, that's definitely one edge they got in this series, but I don't think it will be enough, unfortunately, for them.
All right, our handicappers here, to ensure the best quality picks, each handicapper selects their own pick in advance of the show, so you really have to let the cappers pick their games. We don't force them to pick on their picks. Of course, we will cover the high-profile games and game discussions if they're not covered by the handicappers. Of course, we use the current lines minutes before the game. So we're going to go ahead and get our show started here. We'll go ahead and bring in my co-host, Chris Ruffalo. Chris, how are things going? Of course, the game in progress right now. It looks like the Chiefs driving here down 10-7 in about 5 minutes to go until halftime.
Yeah, it's starting to look like we might get another first half over for Kansas City this year. But you know what? We talked about it this morning. I think these Monday night doubleheaders are something that maybe the NFL should consider looking into. It just adds more football throughout the week and kind of makes the Monday night feel a little bit more substantial, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it does too, and I think that the economics of it, they can make more money. But again, you got to get the players' union on board if that is going to happen.
No, of course, and it's all going to come down to, who's going to make that extra dollar and how it's going to be split and all the revenue sharing. But like I say, if you can get a 7:00 game in, and then you can get another like a West Coast game, like a 9:30 or a 10:00 start. There's no reason that it can't work out, especially if you have teams that are already out on the West Coast. It's definitely something that the NFL should be looking into, I think.
Yeah, we'll take a second halftime line look at this. Chris will look up the numbers as we get to halftime. We still got 5 minutes to half. It'll be in halftime about probably a few minutes here. Unless there's a lot of scoring, then it'll be a little while. But anyway, what'd you take from the NFL yesterday? Chris, we did see the Pittsburgh Steelers make a statement. Of course, the San Francisco 49ers didn't want to suffer another home loss as they get the win against the Rams.
Yeah, and we talked about that last week, that the NFC West suddenly – like a wide open division. It's up for grabs, and we could see Arizona potentially take a step to jumble up that division a little bit more later tonight. But I mean, it was also a great day if you're holding a Seahawks futures ticket. You have the Packers go down and the Rams both getting beat up quite handily on Sunday. And you know what? It's just to show you that even in a COVID season, anything can happen, and that's why these guys that's why I say you play any given Sunday. Because anyone can beat anybody on any given Sunday, and I think this is just going to be another way that we're going to have some exciting football down the stretch.
All right, Kelsey looks like caught a short touchdown pass from Mahomes. So right now, 13-10, extra point pending here in this one between the Chiefs and the Bills. And, of course, there's still a lot of time left in the second quarter, 5 minutes. So there's some of you holding the first half plays. The extra point is being attempted here. Chris, what's your take from college football? We did see Alabama get past Georgia.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show you that Alabama is officially going to be an over team from a betting standpoint for a lot of the rest of the season. I mean, how high can you really set the totals? I mean, they combined for 111 against Ole Miss the week before, and then you walk all over Georgia, even at home. That's still a pretty solid win, especially after trailing for part of the first half. They decided to turn on the second half, and this is going to be another year, I think, where you're going to see the usual suspects. You're going to see your Clemsons, you're going to see your Alabamas. And I think it's just going to be interesting to see how the committee can shake out the rest of the top four when you have like the Pac-12 and the Big Ten are starting late, and the Big 12 doesn't really look like it's got a horse leading the pack either. So it's going to be interesting to see for sure.
Missed extra point by the Chiefs, so it's 13-10 with about 4 minutes remaining until halftime. All right, here on the drive-thru, we got a lot of picks coming. We got this pick from the Monday Night Football game between the Cowboys and the Cardinals. We also have a pick from a Game 1 World Series that goes off Tuesday, so we'll get that in. A lot of college football coverage as well as, Chris, we've increased the schedule now, right? We add the Big Ten and we add the Mountain West to the schedule, so a lot of action this week.
A lot of action. It makes for what feels like a more complete Saturday. I mean, it didn't feel it felt kind of strange to have the get out game on Saturday be at 8:00 and be a Georgia versus Alabama game. But I mean, now you look at Saturday night this coming week. You got San Jose State playing Air Force. You got an addition of Wyoming, Nevada in there. You got 7:00. You got a bunch of games that are going to fill up the schedule, and especially the latter part of the schedule. I'm just excited to have some nightcaps for college football to help put me to sleep. Absolutely.
All right, guys, the drive-thru here, ready to come in with our first pick. We got an NFL game. We're going to look at that Thursday night game. Let's welcome to the show Brian Bittler. You'll watch him and listen to him in the morning show with Mitch and company. Brian, how are things going for you?
Pretty awesome yesterday, cashing my NFL game of the month. Easy winner with Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they had Aaron Rodgers down on the turf for the entire game, wire-to-wire cover almost. Guys, I'm ready for Monday Night Football.
Yeah, almost. Of course, a little nervous in the beginning there. You're down 10.
Yep. I was nervous. I got those text messages. Oh, you're sure about the Buccaneers? But you know what? As the game went on, Tampa Bay rose to the top and really took it to the Packers.
Absolutely. I keep an eye on this Chiefs-Bills game. Any thoughts here as we approach halftime? Maybe look at a halftime play?
No, Buffalo was my second favorite play on the day, plus the points. But I really feel like they're at home and against a Chiefs team that they have to really make a statement on. They want to be known as one of the better teams in the NFL. To do that, you got to beat the Chiefs. So I expect the Bills maybe to outright win here.
Absolutely, look for that right win. We're not getting the rain, but we do see a little bit of moisture on the field here right now as they're playing. So we'll see how that holds up here as we approach about 5 minutes until half. All right, Brian, you're going to take a look here at this Thursday night game. Cross our fingers, hope they play. I'm sure they will here. Giants and the Eagles here. This one opened Eagles 6.5. Of course, injuries on the tight end position for Philadelphia. It's 4 and 6 and 3.5 in some places. Total sits here at 44.
Boy, I'm glad this morning when I had to look up a game to do for the drive-thru, I got on the Giants a little bit at +6, and boy, I'm glad I did. Really, anything from 3 and up, if you can get 3.5, even at 3, I see this game being a field goal game. Eagles tend to play down or up to their competition. They're really banged up injury-wise, and sometimes I just don't know what the coach is thinking when they call some of those plays the Eagles are running. And how many games over the years, Philadelphia Eagles and the Giants have come down to a field goal last second. So I can see it going either way. Take the points in the Giants here.
All right, Chris, we looked at the Eagles. They were able to get that in through the back door. It might have pissed off a lot of people because that was all Ravens. And, of course, the Giants had to sweat out that one against Washington as, well, they didn't cover. But, again, Washington going for that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, that's been the story of a lot of the struggles for certain NFL teams this year is a questionable decision making. I think as far as this game goes, I think Brian's dead on with this one. I think you look at the history between these two teams, and if you can get it closer to 6, I'd say the higher the number, the better, because 5 of the last 8 games between these two have been decided by 5 points or less, and especially a division game where we've talked about it before. The NFC least, and you can. This is a division where 6 or possibly even 7 games could win this division. So every game, I think, in this division, win or lose, is weighted a lot more heavily. And I think if you're the Giants and you're 1-5 and you're looking that you're only a game out of first place in the division, you're going to throw everything you have at the wall here. And I could definitely see the Giants taking this one on the money line with how banged up the Eagles are.
The Eagles banged up again. Of course. Brian, you're out there in that area. Your thoughts here on the quarterback Wentz? Is he the guy?
Well, I think he's kind of limited with his weapons out there. I think you might see Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson finally make an appearance for the Eagles this season. But, with their tight end Ertz going down, that's his safety blanket. And no star running back. But Boston Scott's not too bad. I think the Eagles will end up winning the game. But seeing them cover a spread, anything over 3, I don't see it happening.
All right, that's Brian Bittler here. Join us here on the drive thru. You'll find him over at Pig Dogs Premium. He's number one ranked capper in college football. Speaking of college football, as we get the show started about a quarter after the hour, what do you have going on over at Pig Dogs Premium?
Well, guys, you can still get in on my NFL Monday Night Money Shot. I got an easy winner in that big-time Cardinals Cowboys game, or my 3-day special, 3 days, $59.95. You're going to get all my plays Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, maybe even a little bit for Thursday if I can get those plays loaded in early.
All right, guys, check out Brian Bittler over at Pig Dogs Premium. You can see right now he's doing very well in college football, over 500 units of profit, and that's all documented over at the site, Pig Dogs, over at the premium section. Why not get one of those 3-day, 7-day, or 30-day all sports passes? Get all that football in there because we're getting games there during the week. We'll see some on Wednesday coming up shortly. Of course, as the MAC comes into play here, of course, a Pac-12 in a couple of weeks. Brian, probably a good time to pick up one of your long-term packages.
Exactly. We were going over some of the games on the morning show today that I'm really eyeing up for Saturday, and I think it's going to be a good profit weekend. Friday, you also have some big TED action starting with, I think it's Illinois and Wisconsin. Some good games coming up. Make sure you're on board with a long-term pass with one of the handicappers at pickdogs.com.
That's right, guys. Get on board with Brian Bittler. Pick up one of those long-term packages. All right, Brian, have a great rest of the week. Your book ended here on the show, Monday and Friday appearance. We'll see you at the end of the week.
I'll see you at the end of the week, guys. Take it easy.
All right, everybody. Brian Bittler here on the drive-thru. Guys, we're here Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of picks coming up. We keep the picks coming. We're going to get that Monday night, that second half of the Monday night football game. We'll have a pick coming up on that very shortly. But we'll continue here on the drive-thru. We'll take a look here at a Big Ten contest. Chris says we've got Oklahoma at TCU. That early kickoff, this one will be on ABC. And it's Oklahoma favored by 7. Total sits here at 62. We've seen the past 3 games really Oklahoma really struggle on defense.
Yeah, and that's why this line kind of baffles me a little bit. I mean, laying the points with Oklahoma on the road just simply isn't something I'm trying to do it based on just name brand alone. And I mean, you look at what TCU's done. Sure, they're 1-2 this season, 0-2 at home straight up. But I mean, this is still a well-coached team. You know, Gary Patterson usually tries to get the most out of his guys, and those 2 losses. I mean, Kansas State at home, which was a game that I think we had going from the outset, and a narrow 3-point loss to Iowa State in a game that went down to the wire, in a game that the Horned Frogs still covered in, and the TCU also has that road win over Texas, which right now it doesn't look like a whole lot, but I still think this TCU team's a team to watch out for, especially if you're giving them a free touchdown at home. With the way that Oklahoma likes to give up points, I wouldn't be opposed to taking a shot with TCU, maybe even putting a little bit on the money line as well. I think this Oklahoma team's in trouble.
Yeah, they definitely are in trouble. I'm with you there. Just looking at here the way the Sooners play on defense, that defense seems to wear out in the second half of games. I wonder about their conditioning situation there. They even on offense, there's been some turnovers, penalties as well. So that's something you got to worry about there with Oklahoma. And there, I'm with you there on looking at the points, taking the points here with the TCU Horned Frogs. All right, guys, it's the drive-thru. Still a lot more coming up on the show. We're here Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And right now, let's continue the show and let's welcome Kevin Thomas. You'll find him over at Pig Dogs Premium. Kevin, how are things going today?
Oh, great. How you guys doing, Tony, Chris?
Yeah, things are going great here. Keep an eye on this Kansas City and Buffalo game. We saw some scoring here with the Chiefs up 13-10. How did you see that one?
I heard you say that it wasn't raining. It looked like it was raining pretty hard. I don't know if it stopped, but it's going to be more of the run game for the Bills, and I think more of Travis Kelce for the Chiefs for the remainder of this game. They just can't stop Travis in the red zone. So yeah, that's what I've been seeing. I actually have a lean on the over in this game, so I'm kind of worried that with the rain. So
yeah, it looked like maybe an off and on here at that point when the Chiefs are driving for that touchdown. It looked like the rain let up a little bit, but we'll see how it goes throughout the game here. Of course, Buffalo was on the drive here, seeing if they can counter that score. So if you get 13-10, 17-13, you could probably have 30 in that first half. So that might put you closer to that over.
That'd be nice, but I know this. I'm hoping the second half they come out and start slinging it. That's what I expected, more of a John Brown and Diggs going long, but I haven't been seeing it. Not yet.
Right. No, not yet. Not yet. We'll see how it goes, because the Chiefs can try and exploit that defense. But again, if it's wet and the receivers have trouble getting off the line of scrimmage, that's a different thing. There's no fans in Buffalo, and that's pretty much the ideal situation, Chris, that you want when you're going into Buffalo. No fans, because that's a tough place to play.
That is, me being from Toronto, I've attended my fair share of Bills games, and I've seen Bills Mafia put each other through the tables at the tailgate party, and it's, it's a party. I'll tell you that much. And Buffalo fans, I will say this: try going to a Buffalo New England game with a Tom Brady jersey on, and you will get some of the harshest things that have been thrown at you and said at you. We had to park up next to 4 security guards to make sure that we got out of the building. Okay, and I love Buffalo, but it's a vicious place if you're on the other side, man. That's a tough place to play.
Yeah, we've hit the 2-minute warning. No rain right now. It looks like it's dry here with Buffalo on the move, so we'll keep an eye on that one as we approach halftime. All right, Kevin, you're going to look at this Arkansas State, Appalachian State Sun Belt action. We've seen this line creep up a little bit from 10 to 10.5 to 11 against Arkansas State, and of course App State. This is a team that had a little setback here in their game against Marshall, but they bounced back with a game against an FCS school. And Arkansas State, they got a win against Georgia State. They put up a lot of points here in the last 2 games. They score a lot and they give up a lot. How do you see this one?
Well, first, they used the 2-quarterback deal, which I'm not a fan of, but it seems to be working in Arkansas State. But you got to remember, now they're going on the road to play Appalachian State that hasn't played since September 26th. The game against Marshall, I'm going to say a couple of those players had the COVID and didn't know it because they didn't look so good in that game. And then the next game that they won against the FCS school, 21 players didn't even play because of the COVID. So I have a daughter in college. They're dealing with the COVID. She had it, and she felt horrible before she even tested positive. So I'm going to chalk that up to that. But Arkansas State, they're scoring 27 points on the road and allowing 40. I think Appalachian State, like we saw with the Tennessee Titans, after everyone thought they were going to come out and lose like I predicted, I think Appalachian State's going to come out and just wallop them. I think they're just going to have their way. I think the defense, more like Memphis, and we saw how Arkansas State fared against Memphis. So I'm taking them with the minus 10.5.
All right, looking to take an App State is Kevin Thomas. Your thoughts here, Chris, on this one with Arkansas State giving up a lot of points at Georgia State in the last game. In Coastal Carolina, they were thrashed.
Yeah, I think that's the one caveat whenever you're looking at taking Arkansas State, whether you're getting points or not, is you got to be wary of that defense because the Red Wolves, they can score in bunches, but they also like to play in their fair share of track meets as well, and they like to have the ball go up and down the field. And it's like Kevin mentioned against Memphis, that was a solid performance by the Red Wolves defense, and they still found a way to give up 37 points. So I think that's definitely a thing to watch out for with Arkansas State, and the 2-quarterback system as well. I mean, it's hard to get consistency, but like you said, it seems to be working. You have 2 quarterbacks who have almost thrown for 1,000 yards apiece this season. My concern with Appalachian State is that it has been almost 4 weeks since they played really a competitive football game, and COVID will do that to you, and will rest equal rust? I'm not sure. I still haven't taken a deep enough look into this game, but it's a very, very solid case for laying the points with Appalachian State here.
Yeah, kind of a long layoff there. Looking at that, Kevin, kind of concerned about that. Maybe the offense, will it be fine tuned enough with that layoff?
I think so. I mean, they got one of the tier 2. I was looking at his stats. Zach Thomas, he's a tier 2 quarterback, like 28 or 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. But you got to remember that last week they were supposed to play the Cajun Ragens for like the Sun Belt Championship. I mean, the Cajun Ragens would have been undefeated when they played that game. So I think these guys are hungry. They want to play. They want to play anybody. So, like I said, with the Tennessee Titans, we all doubted them. Well, I doubted them, and they just came out and thrashed. So, I think they're just going to come out and lay it on them. I think Arkansas State will get points. I might want to look at the over, but I'm not even sure because, like I said, they're only averaging 27 on the road. And I think this Appalachian State's defense might be a little bit better than what they've seen so far, except for Memphis.
And decided to feel they were a really good, hard-hitting, physical defensive team. They went up against the big boys and gave them a run for their money. All right, Kevin, as we approach the bottom of the hour, what do you have going on over at Pig Dogs Premium?
Right now, just checking out the 7 days and 3 day packages. I have not been so great, but I'm looking for a big bounce back. It's rare that I am down this long, so you can make sure you jump on because I'm about ready to get hot, and it's just going to keep rolling, especially we got Christmas coming up, so got to make the money.
Absolutely got to make the money up there. And any look here at the World Series that begins tomorrow.
Well, like I told you, I like the Rays to win that series against the Yankees, and I predicted whoever would win that series would win it all, and I'm going with the Rays. Sorry, Al, but I like the Rays. I think the Rays pitching, the bullpen is just going to be. I mean, the Dodgers got hitters, but I think the Rays have the quiet hitters, not the big names, but the guys are just doing what it takes to win, and I think that's going to get it done.
Yeah, it looks that way. Of course, that key relief pitching, they've got it done. They know how to use. That's one thing to note here. They know how to use play these bullpen games, manage it, and these relievers are used to it. I think that has something to say. That may be an impact there for Tampa Bay. Do you think?
Oh yeah, I gotta be honest. I do like that the Dodgers. They throw Day out there for 1 inning. I mean, bring him in the middle, and then hold what's his name, Julio. Uriasa. Am I saying that right? Make him the closer for the Dodgers. I think that might actually work a little better. But like I said, Tampa, even Snell didn't even look so great, and he still is probably better than most of their pitchers. So I'm just going to stick with Tampa Bay to win the series there.
All right, Kevin is looking at Tampa Bay. All right, guys, check out Kevin Thomas over at Pig Dogs Premium. Pick up one of those long-term packages, your 3-day, 7-day, or 30-day pass as we're getting into World Series coverage as well as the college football schedule, which starts to beef up with a lot more conferences coming, and we're going to see in the next few weeks here, Big Ten, MAC, Mountain West, and Pac-12. So we're going to have these full cards, so get on board. All right, Kevin, as always, great to have you on your show. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you later. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Kevin Thomas here on Drive Thru here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here every day, guys, Monday through Friday, so make sure you tune in and smash that like button. Help grow our audience. We greatly appreciate that. All right, here's the game we're going to take a look at here, Chris. It's Temple and Memphis, and boy, this Memphis is some outfit here. This one is lined Memphis laying 13.5. Total sits here at 70.5. I think it was down from 72. I think it was close to 72, 73 earlier in the morning because the way these guys play football, this Memphis team, they put up over 690 yards of offense or something, and they give over 570. But this is a Memphis team, of course, that was once a defensive style team, but they've had a lot of turnover and they're getting up a lot of yardage this season. How do you see this one?
I mean, what can you say about Memphis, man? The Tigers, they don't like to play much defense, but when you can score 50 points on UCF, you're probably going to be in a good spot to maybe win some games. And Temple, I think they're going to be they're going to come out, they're going to hit Memphis hard. The problem is you only have a pair of 2-point wins or 2-point games this season, in a loss to Navy and a win against USF. Those kind of performances aren't going to cut it against a Memphis team that can hang 50 on you, or even at least 40 on you in a heartbeat. I mean, you look at and they're looking for revenge after last year. I mean, Temple was the only team to really step in Memphis's way, and when they won by 2 earlier in October that season as well. And I mean, the two teams have gone back and forth, but in the end, I just see Memphis being too much in this one. I would lay the 2 touchdowns with Memphis at home here.
All right, Chris Ruffo looking here, early look here with laying the points here with the Memphis team. Any thought on this total that's up at 69? Looking how often that Memphis goes over. They go over 16 of their past 24 at home. Owls have gone over 11 of their past 18 times as an underdog. So, you have any thoughts here on this total? Which we saw, we saw the game last week with Memphis UCF going well over 75.
Yeah, but I think that's more of a product of UCF being able to contribute to the total as well. I'm not sure we're going to get much of that from Temple here. I mean, you look at the 5 all-time meetings these two teams have had in conference play. We haven't cracked 62. So I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I could see it being something in the area, maybe 37-23 or something that keeps it around the 60s. And I think 70 is going to be a very hard number to get to, even with the way that Memphis is playing right now.
Yeah, of course, you got to get some production from Temple to see if their offense can kick it into gear. All right, Terry, join with Chris Russo here. Ruffalo. I keep calling it. I just
That's
been
like
a turnover.
I've had worse.
I know.
I've had worse.
Problem is, I'm watching this Bills game. The Bills are trying for a trick play here, and they got within maybe a field goal range here with 1 second left. A pass to Diggs, Chris Ruffalo, and we'll see what the Bills do here if they go for that long field goal or if they're in position to do that. And Kelsey not very happy here. I think there was a turnover that put the Bills in position here to get it, and they're going to try it. They're going to try a long kick here. This one's got to be about 52 yards. It's not too bad. It's makeable, but we'll see how it is in this condition. A 52-yard attempt by the Bills to tie it up. It's up, and it's going to be wide to the right. So they missed the kick there to go into the halftime. 13-10 at Kansas City, Chris.
I can't say I'm surprised by it. I thought Buffalo would come out. We nailed that first half under if you caught it on the morning show, but I still think that Kansas City's just going to blow past Buffalo in the second half. I think the Bills are going to hang on for a while, but I think slowly you're going to start to see, space between Kansas City and Buffalo. I think just the Chiefs pull away at the end.
All right, that's Chris Ruffalo joining me here on the drive-thru. We got more picks coming, and Chris, it's your turn up center here with this game between Tulane and UCF. This one on ESPN2. UCF favored by about 20. I'm seeing 20.5 in some places, and now a total sits here at 73. Of course, that field goes. They're not a very happy team, are they? Central Florida Knights. Of course, they're out of the bowl picture for New Year's Day Bowl with that loss. But again, here's a team we talked about, UCF, that puts up a lot of yards but gives up over 500 yards of offense, and they're facing Tulane, who likes to run the ball, but they run effectively. How do you see it?
Yeah, far be it from me to go against a UCF team that has their home field named the Bounce House. I mean, that's just what more can you ask for in that situation? But you look at UCF, and for whatever reason, this Central Florida team just has a different feel this year. I mean, it's a hard one to figure out, but I mean, I still think Central Florida is the better team. But Tony, it's like you said, as bad as Tulane have looked at times, they have the chops to hang with certain teams offensively, and I think UCF is going to come into this game ticked off, knowing that they're probably out of the running for the New Year's Bowl game, and that they're a much better team than what we've seen. But this is also a Tulane team that took UCF down to the wire last year. They only lost that game by 3 points, and like we said, the Knights just did give up 50 points to Memphis. They're allowing 33.3 points a game. I mean, you look at the other side of it. Tulane scoring 36.4 and allowing 32.2. There's nothing here that screams 20-point game to me, and I'll take the Tulane Green Wave and the points in this one.
All right, Chris Ruffalo says take the plus 20 here. That's Tulane and UCF. I can't blame you with that pick, because I looked at that one earlier this morning. It was something I circled here because it's hard for me to lay that many points. Whenever a team is allowing over 500 yards of offense, there's no way in the world I can lay double digits with that team. I just refuse to do that. It's just that 500-yard barrier is one thing I've set high that I rarely will ever lay points, even more than a field goal. I'm even nervous. I will never lay any points, seldom, with a team that does that.
Well, I mean, you look at what Alabama and Ole Miss had about a week and a half ago. It's an Alabama team that's averaging 600 points. It's supposed to be really good, 600 yards of offense. It's supposed to be really good on defense. They still gave up 48 points to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss still found a way to cover in that game. But, I mean, like I said, Central Florida, you're talking about apples and oranges here, because, I mean, Central Florida doesn't really have much of a defense to speak of in this position. And, like I said, Tulane, while they gave up 49 to Houston and kind of, took that pick down for me, it's still a decent team that can put points up on the board in bunches, and there's nothing saying Tulane can't keep this somewhat respectable and lose it by, let's say, 14 points or even 17 points and keep it within the number.
Mm-hmm. And I know some of the folks out there may be looking at trends here. Tulane's gone over in 4 with one push, and it looks like it's 4 of 5 for the Knights going over. So heavy over trend for both teams coming in.
And with that said, the last 4 head-to-head, I've seen them all go under the number. But that's, again, the way it works sometimes is that you look at, granted, the last year's meeting, 34-31 for UCF, was the first meeting in 4 years. So it was hard to really invest any sort of stock in it when you consider how much the rosters usually easy for me to say, tend to change over from year after year. But it was also the first time where the total had broken 70. So I mean, I could see this being an under as well. What was the number you said? Sorry, was it 70,
73,
72?
I believe. Yeah.
I could still see this one coming in maybe a 45-28 game right on the number, or even something along those lines. I do see UCF getting to 40, but I don't see them holding Tulane to less than 24 points. I can see Tulane making somewhat of a game of this.
Yeah, it's 73 there with the total.
I think the total is going to be very close, though. I think that number is pretty close to being dead on.
All right, Chris here looking at this game. Go ahead and take the points with Tulane in this one, and I think we have it Tulane more than that. I think that be.
Yeah, I think we just missed the 2 instead of the 1.
Yeah, we missed the 2 instead of the 1, so we had Tulane
it's a typo,
plus.
yeah.
It's a typo, yes, it is. So we had
Tulane.
How many?
It's like how many times have you been on your cell phone and accidentally typed ducking, and that's full well that's not what you meant.
Exactly, that's not what I meant. Speaking of. We got a second half line. I know Rod put that up there. It's the Chiefs are favorite 3. Total sits here at 27. Any thoughts on that one?
I'm still going to go ride with the Chiefs on this one. I think I think the Chiefs win this one by a touchdown, maybe even 6 points, and I think this one's going to probably finish 20. I'll say 26-20, or 28-24. I don't know. I'll stick with 26-20. I think the Chiefs win this one. I think they win the second half, and I think the Bills just don't have an answer for the Chiefs down the stretch.
Yeah, I would be there. Look at KC minus the 3. That's the way I capped it, and of course, not a lot of passing yards here for Josh Allen in this one. So we'll see what the adjustments are in the second half. One thing I note, Chiefs again. When you don't get the Chiefs on a short week on their Sunday games, I think they've allowed their past 5 opponents 20 points or fewer. And that's something to note there because remember that game they faced when they faced there's the Ravens, I think it was, they played recently. They gave up over 20, but that was a short week. But if you get them on with rest, they've been able to really play well defensively.
Well, that was the other thing. I said if you're the Buffalo Bills,
that was against the Raiders. But that was a short week after the Monday Night Football. They gave up a big number. But if you give with rest, they've been able to hold their opponents under 20 points.
Oh yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I think that Buffalo, Kansas City's probably the last team that you wanted to play on a short week, even though it was a Tuesday to a Monday. I think it's still it's a Tuesday night to essentially a Monday afternoon. So it takes almost another half a day out of you there. It's still just, I think, a bad spot for the Bills. And granted, kudos to Buffalo for hanging in there so far. We still have another half of football to play.
Yeah, absolutely do, and I think Rod is looking at Bills plus 3 and under 27. Well, Rod Zawacki here a little bit. He'll be looking at the Monday Night Football game for us here on the drive-through. All right, guys, we've got the number here from corrected plus 20 for Chris on Tulane against UCF. All right, Chris, we've pretty much hit the bottom of the hour, just past it here. What do you have going on over at Pig Dogs Premium?
And I still have my Monday night. Cardinals and Cowboys game tonight. I'm loving that play as well. I have it up there for $25 is the lowest I can go with it. Yeah, and also look towards those longer term packages. I know we keep mentioning them, but it's for a good reason. It's going to be your best value. We're going to have a somewhat limited middle of the week here, but that's $25 for a package, or you spend $59 for a 3-day pack, or $99.95 for a 7-day pack. It's going to save you the money down the long run. And like Kevin Thomas mentioned in our last segment, always find a capper that you like, and just latch on, and we're going to start making some money. And same thing Brian Bittler mentioned earlier as well.
Absolutely, guys. The best package right now is get that long-term package from Chris. 3-day, 7-day, and 30-day. All sports pass now available. We're heading deep into college football here in the NFL. There'll be a lot of action as the Pac-12 will begin playing in a couple of weeks. We've got the Big Ten, Mountain West this week. The MAC will come into action. We'll have that action. There's a lot of midweek games. So get on board with a long-term package from Chris Ruffalo over at Pig Dogs Premium. All right, we'll continue here on the show. Chris, we still have a lot coming up. We got that Monday Night Football game, a pick between Cowboys and Arizona. That's on the docket, as well as we have a pick from a game 1 of the World Series. We'll have a look at that as well. For you soccer fans, end of the show, we'll take a look at Champions League. We'll look at now Krista's Auburn-Ole Miss game. This one's an interesting one here. A lot of pressure on the coach here for Auburn. Don Malzahn is in deep here, especially with that big contract. Lost to South Carolina last week, but is this a bounce-back week? As Auburn is favored by 3 Total sits here at 67.5. Chris, this jumped up from an opener of 63.
Yeah, I've still had trouble figuring out Auburn for the course of much of the season, and it's weird because you get the feeling that Bo Nix is a solid quarterback, but he's still not the top guy in that for that offense. He's not the best fit, but I backed Ole Miss last week and it blew up in my face. Matt Corral throwing 6 picks is really gonna. It's not going to win you many games, and I think side by side, Auburn's probably the better team here. And while Ole Miss can explode offensively at any time, it doesn't matter how well you explode offensively if you can't play any defense. I would lay the points with Auburn, but it's a lean at best, I think, for my pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn in this one. One thing I'll note that this will be their second home game, and maybe at home things could be different for Corral. Maybe we'll have a bounce back in this one. But again, sometimes you get these guys on tape. They don't look off receivers, and they can get exposed. Yeah,
I think that was part of the big issue last week was that I think Corral was staring a hole through some of his receivers when they were going downfield, and you could see it on a lot of the replays, and that was where Arkansas was sort of reading them off, but. You know what? I think that Auburn still, though, they're going to be a tougher team than Arkansas defensively to begin with. And, it's one of those things where I just can't get myself to I was burned multiple times by Ole Miss. And I think I've just had enough. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I'm still going to stick with Auburn in this one. But who knows? That could change as the week goes on because these are still a lot of early looks for us.
Absolutely. Really looks like we can pick up some early numbers here on the drive-through, guys. Still a lot more coming up. We got the Monday Night Football game and some more college football as well as baseball coming up. And let's turn our attention now to the Monday Night Football game and welcome to the show Rod Zawacki. You'll hear him in the morning with Mitch and company. Rod, how you doing today? I see you're keeping tabs on this Bills and Chiefs game. I know you have an opinion on the second half. There we have you, Rod. We may have lost Rod's signal there for a second. We'll see if we can get in contact with Rod Zawacki there. We can unfreeze him. We got him in his Joe Flacco impersonation over there, so we'll get to him in just a second. All right, let's do a game discussion here on this Florida State Louisville game as we try to effort our way to get Rod back on the scene here. Louisville is a team that has been a real big disappointment. There was a lot of with Satterfield there was a lot of hope. I think a lot of excitement in that program, but they haven't lived up to it of late. There's been some bad losses on their side. Quarterback play has been a little erratic. We'll take a look here at the current number in this Louisville game, and we'll find it here at Florida State will be a dog here. Louisville favored at home 5. Total sits here at 60.
Oh, boy. You know what? This is about between two teams that took Notre Dame kind of down. I don't want to say down to the wire because, Florida State still lost by 16, but two teams that squeaked out covers, we'll say, against Notre Dame in the last couple of weeks. And, I still have a hard time figuring out this Louisville team because outside of that win against Western Kentucky to start the year, it just hasn't clicked for Louisville. I mean, when they score enough points, they get outscored like they did against Miami. When they play solid defense like they did against Notre Dame, the offense doesn't show up. So, I'm having a hard time figuring out which Louisville team we're going to get here. You look at the other side. Florida State, obviously coming off of that big win against North Carolina, I think they were a little bit lucky to get out with that win after allowing North Carolina to storm back throughout the course of that second half. But I think we are going to see a fair bit of scoring in this one. I think I'm leaning towards an over here between two teams that don't play much defense. I think.
Yeah, it looks like an over there, and early lean would be for me on the dog. I'm seeing a little improvement from Florida State's offensively, and Louisville. I've just had some issues with them, especially their issues in defending. That's something that's bothered me here with this Louisville Cardinals team, and of course that the quarterback Cunningham. It's a low percentage completion, not much downfield throwing from him. All right, continue here, guys, with the drive-through. I think we got the internet fixed with Rod Zawacki, so let's bring him on. Rod, how you doing? I know you have an opinion here on this second half between the Chiefs and Bills as they coming out of the locker room.
Yeah, I would take the Bills plus the 3, and I like the under 27 in the second half here.
You like the under? You saw something from this Bills team? You think they can cover this and maybe win this game.
Oh, exactly. They got a chance to win this game outright.
Yeah, the Chiefs took the second half kickoff. They're at their own 20 here to start the third quarter, and they're running the ball up the middle for about a gain of 5. We'll see how it transpires here. Kind of dry weather here. Interesting what the forecast is. I guess if you want rain, if you want that under here in the second half.
Yeah, exactly right. Even the way they're running the ball, they're not trying to play a shootout game here. Both teams are running the ball, slowly grinding clock. That's all you want for an under.
That's what you want for an under. We'll see how it continues here. Just keep, just no big plays is what you want. Just these long drives will help your under come in. All right, Chris, your thoughts here. Your thoughts here on this possible under in the second half.
No, definitely. I think Rod hit it bang on. I think you're going to see a lot of ground and pound, especially with a lot of uncertainty in the forecast. And I think these two teams have some solid running backs to go with it as well. I mean, I think we're seeing Clyde Edwards-Helaire sort of really stake his claim for the Chiefs' backfield, and we're starting to see. We always had Josh Allen as a mobile quarterback, and I think we're just going to see a lot of ground and pound here, and this could chew up a lot of clock over the course of the second half.
Yep, and of course we've got the Bills here. At least my stream here is 3rd and 2, so it's been a lot of running here. We'll see how that continues. All right, Rod, you're going to take a look here at this the second half of this Monday night doubleheader between the Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys, and take a look at this line here. We knew it was really close, early in the week, and of course we're now into it. We've got the Dallas Cowboys a point favorite. The total has been creeping around 55. Let's see if it dipped down to 54.5, because I thought I saw a number there that dipped down in some place. But here we go, Rod here with the Cowboys favorite.
Yeah, exactly. This game, I'm just looking to see here if you were right. Did it dip down? I think it's still stuck at 55, right?
Okay.
Still at 55?
55, actually creeped up to 55.5. So there's been some upward movement on it.
So 55. Well, yeah, I can understand why it's a little bit of upward movement here. It's not like this. Everybody's all focused on Dak not being in this game. Well, you still got this Dallas defense who is still dead last in the league and allowing the most points a game. For me in this game, I think we're going to see lots of scoring. You got to take over 55, and if it's at 55.5, I still like it going over. Dallas is out giving up 36 points a game. So even if I look at that and you take a touchdown off of that, and Arizona gets their over, gets 27, 28. I think both teams score in the 30 and we get way over. I got the final at about 34-31.
Yeah,
I think we're well over.
I'm with you there on the over, the way the Cowboys defense has looked. And, of course, Andy Dalton, Chris, is a capable quarterback. Now he's got some weapons. We saw in Cincinnati when he had weapons, A.J. Green. He had somewhat of a run game, some offensive linemen. Of course, they were drafting all those USC linebackers from Pete Carroll back in the day. They were competitive. Your thoughts here on this on Andy Dalton with the Cowboys?
Yeah, that's why I kind of shifted course over the course of the week. I was all over Arizona when the line first came out. I was like, you know what, Dak Prescott's out. You know, this team's going to sort of falter. They're going to become one-dimensional when they go to running the ball with Ezekiel Elliott, and I just don't trust Andy Dalton. But then you kind of remember that this was a guy that helped get the Bengals to the playoffs consistently. He didn't win the games, but he helped get there, and he helped you win the division once in a while. And now that he's got guys like Amari Cooper, he's got CeeDee Lamb to throw to, he can hand the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott to set up the pass. You know, he's got a potential to hang here, and I think that they can go shot for shot with the Cardinals at least to start tonight. And we'll have to see how things go the rest of the season. But you know, Andy Dalton is not the worst option that you can have as a backup quarterback, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. He may be the best backup quarterback in the league right now, especially if you don't have to get ready for him. I mean, the short period here. But Kyler Murray adds an interesting in this game for this reason, because of his run ability to get that first down on third down. So I think that's something to keep an eye on, especially with a bad Cowboy defense. Can only look worse here when you're trying to deal with Murray here for 60 minutes. That goes over to Rod.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because Kyler Murray he's very good as well. He's definitely going to move the ball. He's got lots of weapons at his disposal as well. So I don't know. I think we're in for a shootout. Definitely not going to be raining in Dallas. We're definitely going to see some points.
We'll see some points, and we'll see some fans over there. That's a difference too. We'll see some fans in that one. All right, Rod, as we're approaching the top of the hour, we see you over at Pig Dogs Premium. What do you have going on at the site?
I got one play available. You can get my winning side in tonight's NFL game. Who's going to win this game?
That's right. So take a look at Rod Zawacki over at Pig Dogs Premium. Pick up that as play, or better yet, get that 3-day, 7-day, 30-day pass, because now we're in football, guys, and you want to get on board long term, Rod. That's the best value for the customers out there.
That's the best value for our viewers and our audience out here. Get on something long term. Definitely can't lose going that way.
That's right. Get that long-term package over at Pig Dogs Premium. All right, Rod, it's always great having your show. We'll listen to you and watch it tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Mitch and company on the morning show.
Great to be here, and everybody have yourselves a wonderful evening. And as always, keep an eye out. There might be something coming.
There might be something coming at the close, guys. So keep an eye out. If you've already witnessed it, when we go to our close, to our final shot with all the cap review, Rod put something up for you to check out. So keep an eye on it. All right, Rod, we'll keep an eye for that play at the end of the show. All right, Rod Zawacki here on the drive-thru. All right, continue here with Chris Ruffalo. We've covered a lot of our college games, but I'm going to throw this out at you here. Some of these Big Ten games we're looking at here. I was looking at this Rutgers-Michigan State game, but this Nebraska-Ohio State game really got my attention because of the spread, and because Ohio State's somewhat inexperienced defensively and on the offense side of the football. When you're asking a team to cover almost 4 touchdowns, when they're used to playing these little cupcakes, they're going right into conference section. Nebraska's not a cupcake. They're going right into conference. 26.5 seemed to me like a big number.
Yeah, especially when you look at the way that Nebraska finished the season last year. They barely lost by a field goal to Iowa, held on against Purdue. They fought against Indiana. I mean, this is I don't want to say it's a bit of an overreaction to looking at last year's meeting with Ohio State, that Ohio State won 48-7. But this is definitely a thick line. The problem is for me is that Ohio State's the team that can probably cover that line. That's the thing. They're up there with the Clemsons of the world. It could take a while for the Buckeyes offense to sort of gel a little bit and get going. But this Buckeyes team is a scary team, and they can, like we've seen last year, they can put points up in bunches. They can also take their foot off the gas a little bit. But I mean, when you're telling me they're putting up 52-3 against Northwestern, 73-14 against Maryland, 56-21 against Rutgers. Ryan Day likes to beat up on the smaller teams in the conference, and I think this is going to be Ohio State's sort of way of saying to the Big Ten, hey, we may have all shown up late, but we're still here. And I think there's going to be a couple Big Ten programs that are going to have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, saying, hey, you know what, because you got teams that have already been playing 3 or 4 weeks, they're saying, hey, we earned our rankings, and you guys are just coming in and getting your top 25 ranking just because you're Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to come in and say, hey, no, we're deserving of our ranking, and we're going to show you. I think this could be a trouncing of Nebraska.
Looking at the Nebraska team, the one thing to note, they are experienced. 10 players returning on offense, the entire offensive line. But would a year experience change this team in your opinion here, this Nebraska Cornhuskers team?
I mean, you never want to really give up that many points to a coach like Scott Frost, but you look at how the offensive line doesn't take covering numbers against the spread into consideration, but you look at just how Nebraska did last season. They were struggling to cover numbers, and a lot of that was mainly because the offensive line couldn't give the quarterback enough protection. They couldn't move the ball downfield, and I think a year is going to help bring together some chemistry, but it doesn't necessarily affect your play on the field. It may give you a bit more of a brotherhood and camaraderie within the lineup, but you still have to perform on the field, and I'd struggle to think that that's going to change from Nebraska.
All right, Chris Ruffalo, join me here on the drive-thru, guys. Still more picks coming. We'll get that World Series play coming up, and of course, we're here Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to smash that like button. Give us that thumbs up that helps our audience grow. All right, let's continue on. We're going to talk to our buddy El Ninos. We're going to take a look at that Dodger Rays game 1. El, how you doing? I see you've got all your Dodger jerseys in the washer here, getting ready to sweat out a 7-game series with the Rays. You think it's going to go deep?
Yeah, still waiting on a piece to get here so they can fix this washing machine. So yeah, hope they do it in time for some of these games. But yeah, it should be a great series. Obviously, Dodgers got the better offense and they got some great pitchers, but you got to give the pitching edge to the Rays. Their starters haven't had their best seasons this year, but again, their bullpen has been great, probably the best bullpen in the league. So that will be something to watch, and well, we'll have to figure out a way to beat them too as Dodgers.
All right, let's get Chris's opinion here. Chris, I'd like to get your thoughts here on this series with the Dodgers and Rays. Look, Dodgers are favored to win this thing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for me to see how Cody Bellinger does after the baseball gods decided to give him a little nudge after that bat flip last night. But that's just me being a grumpy old get off my lawn kind of guy, and I wasn't a fan of that bat flip. But that's besides the point. You know, I think we have a heck of our series on our hands, and you know what? I think Kershaw's slated to go in game 1 for the Dodgers, and I think he's going to step up, and he's going to be a tough out as he always is, but we've also seen playoff Kershaw show up before, like he did against Atlanta, and I don't think that this is as clear cut as a flat out just Dodgers cakewalk. And I think the Rays pitching staff and the Rays bullpen is going to force this series. I think we have a 7-game series on our hands.
That's right, and of course, we'll give you a moment here in glory, Al. You were the only one on our well, I don't want to speak for everyone on the show, but we were down on Urias. But somehow, some way, I guess that we take Chris. He got that magic wand out again and got 9 guys out.
He watched the drive-through. That's what he did.
He watched the drive-through. Probably some of the clutch innings that I've ever seen. You know, in that spot. Although it wasn't a true road game, it was a game 7. Sometimes you just tune out the fans because the situation is just bigger than that. It's just you against the opponent, because then when you're in a situation like that, I don't think you can pay attention to the fans too much. But still, I got to give the guy credit. That those 9 outs in a row in that spot is not easy.
Yeah, it's just it was just one outing, but I mean, I think he may have found his spot in the rotation and a solution to what was a problem for the Dodgers coming into the postseason. And yeah, he looked great finishing that game off. Obviously, that's just one game, but as I said, I've always kind of said he was better than we all thought. Chris started to come around there towards before that outing too, so you got to give him some credit too. And yeah, it should be interesting what they do with their pitchers, because again, there are a lot of young pitchers, and I guess the pitching coaches are still trying to figure them out too, and where to put them and how to best use them. So it should be a great game. But that being said, Kershaw, he's had his struggles in the playoffs, but he did give us a strong 5 innings last time out, and he did go up against the better lineup. You said the Rays have hit the ball pretty well, but top to bottom, I mean, the Braves have the much better lineup than the Rays do. And I think Kershaw comes out and has a better game this time out. I think he has a strong start too, so I look at the first 5 unders a look too, but the play we're giving out here is the whole game to go under. It's already gone down a bit. Yeah, I thought it was 8 earlier.
Yes, it was.
And it's already gone down to 7.5, but you still can get the first half at 4. So if you like that better, but again, the Rays bullpen is great, so it should help this game stay under as well on the full game. So both are good looks. Probably put a little bit on both again. Someone was asking if we give out premium plays or free plays. I don't think this will make it to a premium play because Dodgers have a great lineup. It's very hard taking unders against them, for me at least. And Tampa's been hitting the ball pretty well too. And we talked about Kershaw's playoff struggles real quick. As much as it pains me to mention those, I still think he's a great pitcher though, and I do expect him to have a good game.
Yeah, of course, there's no other game tomorrow. So if you don't have this as your premium, then it'll probably be the side, right? Oh, unless you're going to put some of that soccer, which we'll talk a little about later on with the Champions League, because that's happening this week. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Chris, we're looking at Glasnow versus Kershaw. LA favored about $1.70. We'll just estimate it there because it's all over the place between 64 and 72. Total now down to 7.5. How do you see this one?
Well, I think first lean for me is probably going to be with Tampa Bay and the plus money, only because you're getting them plus 150. And we mentioned it this morning. You're probably going to be able to make more money over the course of the series just betting Tampa Bay strictly based on value, rather than trying to catch them on a series price and hope that the Rays have to win the series, and when it's going to be a tough task against a powerful Dodgers lineup. But the Rays tend to have success with Glasnow on the mound, and we, like I said, our last sight of Clayton Kershaw was him throwing 5 innings against Atlanta, but the Dodgers struggling and ending up losing that game. And I think just from a value standpoint, you got to look at Tampa Bay to take game 1, but right now it's just a lean until we do a little bit more digging.
A little bit of lean. We'll have covered that in depth tomorrow. We just got the word here. It looks like it will be Kershaw. There was still question marks who was going to go, but I think we all knew it was. But now we got the official. Then we saw the little dip there in the total. All right, El Nino's saying take Dodgers and Tampa under the total of 8, but if it's 7.5, he was okay with that as well. All right, Al. Now it's time to look at some Champions League. As we know, we've got the teams competing tomorrow in the group stages. And first, you're going to take a look at this Juventus and Dynamo Kiev game. Are we looking here at a 3-way line, or are we looking here at a money line or a total? How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, definitely going to be looking at the money line here. We're getting a decent price on them, of course, because Ronaldo's out. He's out with COVID. So that's a big blow, and it's a play I do suggest you're very careful with. I do like our other soccer play a little bit better than I do like this one. But I still think Juventus has been a great club for like years before Ronaldo got there, and I still think they have enough to take care of Dynamo Kiev here. But again, yeah, be careful with that one. Their best player's not going to be there. So as I said, again, I think they're still the better team, and we're getting a decent price on them because he's out. So I do kind of like Juve here, but again, the next play is the one I like better of the two.
All right, Chris, your thoughts here on this Kiev and Juventus. Is this a league that you obviously Juventus Italian is a league that you follow? Your thoughts on this one? I know we're going to look at this. We're going to look at another game, and then Chris has some futures he's going to look at. But there's your thoughts on this one, Juventus and Kiev.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is with Dynamo Kiev is that they haven't really fared well in the last few years. Despite being a perennial Champions League team out of the Ukraine, they've still failed to make it out of the group stage in 13 straight tournaments. And this is a team that, you always wonder if maybe this is going to be their year. This is going to be their year. And then next thing you know, they end up in a group with Juventus. And they have to start the tournament on that note. And, it's not going to be easy. Even without, Ronaldo in the lineup, they still got guys like Dybala, and you've got Wojciech Szczesny, who held the fort down for Juventus for much of that last season in goal. I think your best bet here is going to be going with Juventus, but the fact that line is that low, even with Ronaldo out, scares me because I still think that there's just a sea of difference in talent between Juventus and Dynamo Kiev. And I think if you want to make it a little bit more a sizable wager, you could probably take. I'm just trying to get the odds here. You can get Juventus to win and both teams to score at plus 285. I see this one being a 2-1 game. You can get Juventus to win with over 2.5 goals at plus 160, or the 2-1 correct score at plus 700.
All right, it's Chris Rivolo here on the drive. We're looking at Champions League. Another game we want to look at was Man U and Paris.
Yeah, this should be a slightly more competitive game. Again, the favorites are laying a bit more juice in this one, and a couple interesting injuries on this one. Actually, PSG is dealing with quite a few injuries, and Manchester just got Cavani from PSG, but he'll be missing this one. So, he didn't travel with the team, so he will not be playing in this one. But again, I still like Manchester. I think we're getting some value here. I wouldn't quite take a shot on the money line, but I do like the spread getting a goal here. I feel pretty good going into that one. I think they can at least keep this one close, and we even cash on the draw. So I think that goal is nice to have in this game here.
You know, Chris, I've been trashing Man U with Goran in our soccer segments, but is this a big step down in class here for Man U in this game against PSG?
No, I don't think so. I think I still think Solskjaer he's still feeling some heat on his tush, but you know what? It's a solid performance here and a solid performance in the tournament would definitely alleviate some of that pressure on the hot seat. But as far as this one goes, I still think with all the players out for PSG here, you still have Neymar and Mbappe, who can lead that PSG front line. And this is still a PSG team that's won 5 straight within League One. United's coming off of one of their more disappointing performances, and it's still a Man U team that's lost 4 of their last 8 away games across all competitions. And the thing about PSG is that they're always the team that you expect to make a deep run. They go ahead, they go 6-0 in all. They win all their group stage games, and they bow out in the round of 16 like it was just that was the whole tournament. So I think we're going to see a strong showing from PSG here as we normally do. I think PSG probably wins this game. Unfortunately, I have to disagree with Al on that one, but I think that's just the nature of this game, is that it genuinely could go either way. And I think you're getting value if you take PSG to win and both teams to score at plus 210. Because that PSG price is a little bit juiced on the money line. Or you can go both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at minus 105. I think that's a solid play as well.
All right, Chris Ruffalo here on the drive. They're looking at some of Champions League's odds here with PSG and Man U. All right, Chris, I know you had some futures in the tournament.
Yeah, I was just looking at a couple teams that whether I was liking their odds or not. And I think one team I kind of want to sell on right now, and it's strictly from just a value standpoint, is Bayern Munich. I mean, I know that they're the defending champions and they're a threat to win the Champions League every time they take the field in the group of 32, but at plus 400, there's not a ton of value there. You look at I'm just trying to. I had a list of them right here. I know Borussia Dortmund is a team that I like. I think I saw them at plus 3,000. This is a team that can also make a deep run. They made it to the Champions League final to play Bayern a few years ago. This is still a solid team. You got Erling Haaland as the next young prodigy. I know Norway. He's only 20 years old, but he's looking like a stud that can lead that team to the promised land, I'll tell you. And you know what? You see other teams like you have your Juventuses and you have your. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it up right here. I had it. Yeah, another team I want to sell on is Liverpool. Liverpool lost Virgil van Dijk and in that Merseyside derby, which I was happy to get a draw out of, mind you. But that's again besides the point. VAR saved our butts on that one. I think that one's going to be the tipping point to have a discussion about what VAR brings to the table. But that's besides the point. I just think that the deck is stacked against Liverpool to repeat here. And you're also only getting plus 800 for them at that point. I think you're paying more for the name brand and for what have you done for me lately as opposed to anything else.
Now, any futures you're looking at in the champions? Any team that have circled over, or you're just going to go game by game?
Again, yeah, I'm not much of a futures guy. I usually go game by game. But yeah, I mean, it's usually the big teams that end up in the Final Four. I mean, we saw some different teams lately. That's true. I mean, there's definitely some younger up and coming teams that have done pretty well. But yeah, I think the powerhouses are in a pretty good spot again. And again, I don't really bet many futures, and there's usually not much value on them, as Chris mentioned. So if you were to take a future, I'd probably take one of the long shots that Chris mentioned. All
right, so El Nino's here on the drive-through. El, as we approach the top of the hour, what do you have going on at Pig Dogs Premium? We'll probably have some Champions plays up there.
Well, let's see. We might still got some time to work on that World Series game, but yeah, I got my Monday Night Football pick out for tonight. So if you want to check that out, I think I got a pretty solid play there. And yeah, we'll be looking at the Dodger game tomorrow, and obviously some of these soccer games with not much else going on. But right. Yeah, still got some more football coming up throughout the week, and yeah, still got quite a few things to look at. So always some action.
That's right. Always some action over there at Pig Dogs Premium. All right, Al, as always, great to have you on your show. Have a great night, and you'll be back with us tomorrow.
Yes, I will. See you then.
All right, everybody. Al Nino's here on the drive-thru. All right, now it's time for my free pick. We're going to ACC action. NC State and North Carolina. I'm going to take the points here with this Wolfpack at plus 16.5. Concern is for the North Carolina defense. Past 3 games allowing over 426 yards a game, but 180 yards rushing, nearly 5.5 yards a carry. So that's a big concern for me. And, of course, the points they've allowed, 31 in a loss to Florida State, 45 in their win to Virginia Tech. NC State's won 4 of 5 in the ACC coming off a win against Duke. They do have notable wins on the road to Virginia and Pitt. And defensively, holding teams to 2.8 yards a carry on the ground. And they're doing a great job getting off the field on third down. Wolfpack's cover 3 straight. I'm going to take the points here with NC State. Have you given an early look on that one, Chris?
Yeah, I did. That was one that I was kind of had circled. And as much as I wasn't a fan of NC State on the road to start the year, I'm not sure how you can turn down this many points in a rivalry game. I know North Carolina is the big brother, and they kind of look down at NC State here, but I'm not sure we get an outright win from the Wolfpack. But I think this one could easily be a 10-point game. I think NC State could keep this one within the number, definitely.
All right, Chris Ruffalo joined me here on the drive-thru. All right, now it's time to recap the picks for today. Let's take a look. We got Al sitting in as well. All right, guys, so we began the show with Brian Bittler. He said go ahead and take the Giants +4 against the Eagles. And then it was Kevin. He likes Appalachian State laying the 10.5 against Arkansas State. Chris was on Tulane plus the 20 against UCF. Rod, Monday Night Football pick. Cardinals, Cowboys over a total of 55. Al, a total from the World Series. Game 1, Dodgers Rays under 8. Could be 7.5, and he likes under 7.5 as well. Yours truly, NC State plus the 16.5 against North Carolina. Like we always do, let's start with Chris. Other than your play, which one do you like the best?
I'm not trying to blow smoke, Tony, but I think I like yours the best. I like that 16.5 against UNC. I think North Carolina will want to bounce back, and they'll want to do it against an in-state rival. But this just feels like way too many points, so I'll take the 16.5 with NC State.
All right, Al, I'm going to ask you the same question. Other than your pick, which one do you like the best?
Yeah, it's a toss-up for me between the two of yours. And I may have to give the edge to Tulane. I think they were pretty impressive last week. So I might take Chris' pick here.
You like more points, right? You want the 20 instead of the 16.5.
I'll take the 20. Hope we get to 21 by the time it kicks off. But, yeah, I'll take the 20.
All right, takes Tulane here plus the points. All right, guys, again, thanks for joining us here on the drive-thru. We're back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so be sure to check us out and smash that like button because you help our audience grow. And don't forget, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow is Mitch's show, the morning show with Chris, Mitch, Brian Bittler, and Rod to get you started. All right, let's bring up the cappers for today's show. And, of course, we got the play from Rod there. As you can see, Carr's first TD, Fitzgerald plus 1,000. That is his bonus play from Rod. All right. He's Chris. And, of course, we're joined here with Al, and I'm Tony T. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back at 6 p.m. Eastern time. See you guys.